You've been told to save, invest, and repeat, as if the secret to retirement is just doing more of everything. But that's exactly what keeps so many people stuck on the treadmill, always running, never arriving. There's a better way. A simple routine that makes early retirement inevitable, and it's been hiding in plain sight in Sweden. Today I'll show you how it works and how you can use it to reach your freedom years sooner. Let's start with a question. How do you know when you have enough? For most people, the answer is you don't. Because people inherently believe that this is all I have, whatever that dollar amount is, and they don't have an actual answer for whether it's enough. They just keep working and piling on more money, waiting for some magic day that, quite honestly, will never actually come. I've seen people with $2, $3, $4 million still hesitate, not because they can't afford to retire, but because mentally they never reach that point where they feel ready. Here's a pro tip. It's not about the money. It's because they fear the unknown, as we all do, and retirement feels unknown because they don't know how much is enough, so they just keep working and piling it on. So the question isn't just how much you need to retire, it's how you define enough. That's the biggest trick to retirement, by the way. We want to believe that this thing is a math problem because math problems have answers, and so if we solve the problem, we're okay. But it's not all math, it's a mentality. And shameless plug here, if your financial advisor isn't talking to you about this stuff, they're just bombing you with spreadsheets and calculations, you're talking to the wrong financial advisor. But I digress. As Snoop said, back to the lecture at hand. Now, there's a place in the world where people seem to live differently. They work hard, but they don't live for work. They save diligently, but they also enjoy what they have. And if you can harness this mindset, it doesn't just make life calmer. It leads to people reaching financial independence faster without ever feeling like they sacrificed. It's not a budgeting trick or a spreadsheet. It's a routine, and one simple word captures it. The Swedes call it lagom, and it means just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. It's the balance between comfort and simplicity, between ambition and contentment. And when you apply that same principle to your money, it quietly transforms your entire retirement plan. So now that we know about this secret potion to help us retire sooner, how do we actually put it in action? Here's the 4-part routine to put this to work for you. People who live with lagom don't spend money by accident. They spend it on purpose. They spend freely on family dinners or travel or time outdoors, but they skip things that don't align with what actually matters. In retirement, that's huge. It's the difference between living on a budget that feels restrictive versus living on a plan that feels empowering. When you connect your spending to your values, you stop worrying about running out of money because every dollar has a job that means something. Here's your action item. Here's how you put that to work in your plan. Understand your spending. I talk about this in a lot of videos, so I won't get too deep here, but understand what's important to you and what it costs, and then work a plan based off of that, not based off of growing your portfolio in the relentless pursuit of another dollar. Now, I want to apply this to what we're doing here, so think in terms of saving enough, not saving forever. The very key to lagom is the concept of not too much, not too little. So let's look at what that means for your retirement. I bet you've seen the videos about people saving too much and they retire with all this money that they'll never spend and that they traded a lot of good, valuable life to get it. That's not good. Meanwhile, the other side, also not good. You can't retire with zero. Right? You can retire with zero if you want to, but you're going to have some real problems if you do it. So you got to save enough. Finding enough is the answer. Here's the quick way to reality check whether you might already actually be close. Add up your guaranteed sources of income in retirement, things like Social Security, pensions, annuities, money that's going to keep coming no matter what. And then compare that to your essential expenses, the stuff you need, housing, food, insurance, healthcare. If those stable income sources cover most or all of your must-have costs, and you've got a pile of money beside that, you're likely much closer to financial independence than you realize. The rest of it is a lifestyle choice. It's not survival math. Now let's move on to the third step of the routine. Lagom shows up in investing too. Most people chase performance. They're super focused on trying to beat the market, pick the next big stock winner, or time their perfect entry point. But the purpose of investing isn't to win a scoreboard. It's to create a paycheck. I say this a lot, but I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. When it's piling up, the money feels like the reward, but it isn't. The things you can do with the money is the reward. The goal is not to win. It's to gather enough resources to build the retirement that you want. And when you shift your mindset from growth first to income first, it changes everything. Suddenly, you care less about the volatility. You care more about the paycheck and the reliability. You build a system that supports your life, not one that controls it. That's what we help people do with the Clear Vision Retirement Plan. Create a balanced, steady income stream so retirement doesn't depend on guessing what's going to happen in the stock market next. Now let's move on to the next thing, the fourth step. And this might be my favorite part of the entire lagom routine. People who live by this principle measure their wealth differently. Instead of asking like, how much money do I have? Instead of looking at the scoreboard of your portfolio size, they ask, how much time do I control? That's the heart of early retirement, of making it sooner. Because when you finally see money as the tool that it is, not as the goal, everything changes. The most valuable thing I've ever seen money used for is to buy back time, to buy back your freedom. It's the opposite of what you've done your entire working life. During your working career, you traded time for money, probably because you had to early on. But once you accumulated enough, you don't have to make that trade anymore. That's the turning point. Once you reach enough, the job that your money has flips. And now it's there to give you back your time, your mornings, your choices, your peace of mind. That's real wealth, not the size of the account, but the size of your freedom. When clients start measuring their success in hours of life gained back instead of dollars that they earned, that's when all the fear melts away. That's when kind of the peace comes and you can really start to enjoy the life that you have because you realize that the goal was not to die with the biggest balance. It was to live the most life you could with the resources that you had. Now, lagom isn't a budgeting trick or a minimalist mantra. It's the art of like just right, just enough security to sleep well, enough freedom to live fully, and enough purpose to feel fulfilled in what you're doing. The irony is, when you plan this way, early retirement stops being a gamble and it becomes a natural side effect. It becomes inevitable. If that sounds good to you, check the link in the description and see how the Clear Vision Retirement Plan can work for you. We'll help you walk away knowing exactly how much income you can generate, when you can retire, and how you can protect that paycheck for life. The link to schedule a call with me is down below. We picked up a few lessons from the Swedes today. Speaking of learning, I had a boss once that said, it's better to learn from the mistakes of others than it is to learn from your own mistakes. That's pretty good advice. And so check out what folks who have already lived their retirements have told me over the years and learn what to avoid from their mistakes right over here.